Alright, here we go. First video in 8-1. This is going to be doing example 1 and example 5 together. It's graphing growth or decay. Now, y equals a b to the x. That is the general form of an exponential function. This is your go-to for like the entire chapter. Okay? B is the one that's getting operated by the exponent, and a moves it up or down, it stretches or shrinks it. So when we're graphing these things, we need to think that 0, 1 is our anchor if a is 1, because if I put 0 right here, anything to the 0 power equals 1. So that's why 0, 1 is our anchor, and then multiplying it up or down by whatever the a is remember, from graphing quadratics or absolute value, it stretches or shrinks it. And the last thing we'll talk about is the horizontal asymptote. At the end, it's usually the y-axis. So let's go ahead. How do we graph this one right here? We need to think of y equals a b to the x. Remember, the number being operated on by the exponent, that's the b factor. So a is 1 right here. So our anchor, we need to remember, is just going to be 0, 1 in this case. We need to plug in two other points, one on either side of the y-axis. So let me draw a little graph here. This is our anchor point right there. So I'm going to draw one on either side of this axis to try to get the shape of the graph. Usually the easiest things to choose is 1 and -1, and plug those in to your function and see what they equal, and that'll give you kind of the shape of the curve. Alright, so we're going to do this mentally. It's all written out in the notes, but let's plug in 1 right here. 3 to the first power is 3. So when we plug in 1, the point that pops out for y is 3. So we plot that point right there. 1, 3 is right about there. And let's do the same thing for -1. 3 to the -1 power, remember the rules of exponents, this equals 1/3, right? So it's about 0.3-ish. So when I put in -1, it's about 0.3, and you can eyeball it, and it's kind of like there. Now this one, because the b factor is greater than 1, if b is greater than 1, it's growth, and if b is less than 1, it's decay. That's what the next skill is about. This one is when you're going to the right on the graph. This one is going up. So that's why we call it exponential growth, and it kind of looks like that. And as you can see, this line right here will get closer and closer and closer to the y-axis but never touch it. So that means y equals 0 is our horizontal asymptote for this one. Let's do the same thing over here. Let's find our anchor first. Our anchor is 0, 1, and then you multiply the y coordinate by whatever a is. So because a is 2, if I put the point 0 right here for x, that means 1/5 to the 0 power just makes this quantity 1. 1 times 2 is 2. So y equals 2 right there. So our anchor for this one is at 2. Okay? Let's do the same thing we did before. Plug in 1 and 0. Let's just figure it out mentally. If I put in 1 right here, I've got 1/5. 2 times 1/5 is 2/5. 2 divided by 5, the calculator is about 0.4. So 1 and about 0.4, we'll just say it's about right there. And let's plug in -1. -1 right here, remember, the rules of negative exponents is it switches everything. In other words, it flips the fraction. This is going to be 5. Okay? 2 times 5 is 10. That's the second point. So this is way up here at 10. So any a value really stretches out the graph. So this one's kind of go like this and then decay forever and get really, really close to the y-axis but never get there. Again, our horizontal asymptote is y equals 0.